When you're working on a project, it's important to get just the right image to convey your message. So I'm going to show you a couple of tips for working with Google Images. First, let's get started with a quick search. Okay, so imagine you're doing a social studies project. And now we can see we've got some images, and most of you probably know that you can just click on Google Images and you'll have lots of images that come up. But there's more that you can do to refine that. So you can go to this Tools menu, and from here you could go in and say, I only want large images. Large images mean that they're going to be a higher quality, so you're probably not going to have that pixelation that you get with a lesser quality or a thumbnail. You can also say you want specific color schemes, like I just want black and white and that sort of thing. And somebody like Richard Nixon, he's a historic figure, so if we do that, everything's black and white. For some projects that you're making, that might be better. If you're doing print and you're printing in black and white, that might give you the best quality. Lots of different reasons. You could also say, I want any color, or you can go in and say something like, I only want colors with red. Okay, so red's got to be part of that image. So lots of different options, right? And again, any color would bring it back to the default. You can also go in and say, I want clip art, line drawing, that sort of thing. You can look at the usage rights, if it's like something Creative Commons or commercial and other licenses. Of course, for school projects, as long as you cite them, licensing typically isn't an issue. But if it's going to be shown more broadly, you want to pay a special attention to licensing. So you have those options, or you can reset them all by going to Clear. And if you want to go into advanced search, that's where it gets really fun. So if I go to advanced search, I want to make sure I find images that are about Richard Nixon. You could add additional things like Watergate or impeachment. And with those you need to add or in between, right? You could say your image size. Now this, you still have the large, medium, and icon, but you also have more parameters, so you can have larger files yet. So I'm still going to stick with large. Aspect ratio. So say you're working on a video project and the video project is done in landscape. So then you might want to look at like panoramic or wide. If you're looking at something for TikTok, you might want to do something that's tall. So you get the idea. Colors, again, you have similar features. We have full color. That means it's not going to be black and white. Any color, transparent, so you can put different backgrounds behind. That can be fun for certain projects. Or like I did earlier, where you can choose an individual color and you have options. Type of image. So this is kind of cool because you could say, I just want close-ups. I just want to see a face. It needs to be a photo. Clip art. Clip art is going to be typically not a photo type. It's more going to be like some type of a drawing with color. And then line drawing, that could be just what it says, some kind of a sketch, or it can be more like a coloring book image. And then animated, okay? And then region, this is usually the region of the website. For images, I probably wouldn't work with this, but you could say like United States or whatever you'd like there. Site or domain, this is where you could say, I only want things from a specific type of website, like an edu, an org, or a gov. And then file type, if you are specifically working with a certain type of image, say you only want JPEGs, or say you only want PNGs or something similar, or say you're working on something that needs to have SVG, something that's more digital, you have those options. And then again, you have your usage rights. When you figure out what you want, then you would click your advanced search, and here we have it. So once you select your image, you don't want to just copy and paste that image. That's going to give you kind of that thumbnail preview effect typically, and that's going to be more pixelated. What you want to do is click on it and then go to right click and then save image as. Okay, so from here, if I save image as, I can have a folder for my projects, give it a name that makes sense. And in this case, it could be like Nixon NPR, because that's a source. And don't change your file type. You want to use whatever the original file type is. Once you have that, you click Save. Okay. You can also click on the image itself and then right click and Save Image As here. Now, if you're going in and you're choosing something that's more on this order, okay, you can see it's a larger image. Sometimes when you click on them, they'll have, let's see, it looks like there's lots of potential here. Do you notice how this has a plus sign on it? And sometimes you'll see that arrow. So if I just click on it, it's going to give me this option so I can see larger and smaller. And then I can save image as well. This will actually tell me the scale of the image so you can see what the pixel ratio is. Okay, so pay attention to that. If you have numbers that are less than 3 digits, it's probably going to be pixelated in your project. Please reach out if you have other questions or other strategies.